Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence win championships. Football's golden generations are stacked with talent, but talent alone isn't enough. Argentina proved it, Brazil forgot it, Portugal is still figuring it out, and Spain. Well, they've got the IQ, but not the killer instinct. This is the line between legends and letdowns, and this video exposes who's crossing it. This is how good are these so-called golden generations of some of the best countries of the world. Let's start with Argentina. Remember when the world cried watching Messi lift the World Cup in 2022? Yeah, that wasn't just a fairy tale. It was the peak of a generation that blended experience with pure street-born aggression. Enzo Fernandez, Julian Alvarez, Alexis Mac Allister, Cuti Romero, these weren't just promising youngsters, they were already monsters at 22 to 24. These boys didn't wait for the torch to be passed, they snatched it. And the formation, Argentina has shifted beautifully, from the rigid 4-3-3 in the past to a modern hybrid where Scaloni uses a 4-4-2 on paper, but lets players like DePaul and Mac Allister roam with chaos. Lautaro and Julian take turns bullying defenses, while Enzo drops deep to dictate tempo like a 40-year-old vet in a 23-year-old's body. But how are they performing recently? In brutal honesty, they're still a threat. They won the Finalissima, dominated most of their South American qualifiers, and look scary even when they rotate. If anything, the biggest fear is complacency. Ebook full of 50-plus skills is in bio. When you've won it all, hunger fades. But these kids, they grew up watching Messi bleed for the shirt. They're still famished. And just when you think it's all sunshine, there's a shadow. Argentina doesn't have a clear successor to Messi in terms of that game-changing aura. Garnacho? Maybe, but not now. The creativity gap is real when Messi isn't on the pitch. They've built a brutal machine, but sometimes it still looks like it needs the wizard to cast the final spell. This wasn't even the crazy part. Upcoming are even crazier. The next country, they've been living a lie. Portugal. They call it a golden generation. João Felix, Rafael Leão, Gonçalo Ramos, Vitinha, Nuno Mendes, Antonio Silva. The names sound like a Ballon d'Or shortlist, but here's the brutal truth. Portugal is underachieving hard, and it's a bloody shame. Under Fernando Santos, it was a graveyard of creativity, a rigid 4-2-3-1 that choked the life out of talent. Now under Roberto Martinez, it's evolved. A flexible 3-4-3 or 4-3-3 built for attacking football, and for once, it looks decent. Bruno Fernandes is finally let loose. Vitinha is dictating tempo like he owns the midfield. Leão, a terrifying left flank demon. And Cristiano, still involved, still scoring in qualifiers, but he's now the legend they revolve around, not the system. On paper, this team should be killing it. But when it comes to big matches, Portugal has this insane habit of falling flat. The World Cup 2022 quarterfinal versus Morocco. A total embarrassment. Not because Morocco won, it's how Portugal let it happen. No intensity, no fight, just vibes and missed chances. They've done well in qualifiers lately, scoring for fun. But don't get fooled. Martinez is improving things, but the soft mentality hasn't vanished. Talent without urgency is just Instagram content, and this wasn't even the start of madness. The next country, it's a nation that bleeds football, but right now, they're bleeding for real. Brazil. Brazil, the football gods, the Samba Kings, the land of Pelé, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho. But now, it's chaos in paradise. Let's talk players. Endrick, Vitor Roque, Rodrigo, Martinelli, Juan Gomez. They've got firepower, and there's more talent bubbling under. Players like Savinho and Gabriel Moscardo are already being hyped in Europe. But here's the catch. There's no structure, no soul, no leadership. Formation-wise, Brazil used to run wild with a flair, heavy 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, but now they're lost. Tite kept it stable for years, but with his exit, it's been a musical chairs of managers and confusion. The current interim period has seen Brazil drop points against Venezuela. Yes, Venezuela, at home. That's not a typo. They're 7th in CONMEBOL World Cup qualification right now. Let that sink in. This team is disjointed. Neymar's absence exposed how mentally fragile the squad is. There's no leader stepping up, Vinicius Jr., electrifying, but inconsistent in a Brazil shirt. Rodrigo always seems better at Real Madrid. And the midfield lacks the old blend of grit and flair. Casemiro's aging. Bruno Guimaraes is good, but not a general. Brazil isn't bad because of lack of talent. They're bad because of instability. Until they find a manager who brings direction and discipline, this golden generation might rot in gold-plated failure. But this wasn't even the wildest ride, because the next nation is the most confusing one of them all. They don't just hype talent, they mass produce it and still manage to underwhelm. Spain. Spain doesn't rebuild, they reload. Pedri, Gavi, Lamine Yamal, Nico Williams, Alejandro Balde, Oihan Sanset. This team's future is younger than your little cousin's Fortnite squad, but don't let the baby faces fool you. These kids can ball. Back in the golden era, Spain danced their way to dominance with Tiki-Taka 4-3-3, orchestrated by Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets. Now, under Luis de la Fuente, it's evolved. They still play possession-heavy football, but now with more verticality. It's no longer death by 1,000 passes, now it's death by 1,000 fast breaks. Lamine Yamal is already shaming senior defenders. Nico Williams is slicing through fullbacks like he's on cheat mode. Pedri is injured often, but when fit, he controls tempo like Prime Xavi. And Gavi, he plays every match like it's a street fight in Barcelona's back alleys. So, are they good? Yes, but not invincible. Spain still lacks a lethal number, 9. Morata does the job but misses chances a top striker should bury. Their Euros performances were shaky until the Nations League win gave them some life. Defense-wise, Pau Torres and Laporte are decent, but there's no Puyol-style warlord anymore. They can beat anyone, but they can also fall to anyone. Spain is young, quick, technical, but fragile. They rely heavily on teenage energy, and in major tournaments, that's a risky game. Still, this generation looks like it might eventually bring back the old glory. Just not yet. And that's the truth. 4 nations, 4 golden generations, but only a couple look ready to strike gold. So don't get blinded by hype reels and Twitter edits. Some nations are cooking, some are pretending to be chefs. Argentina has proven killers. Portugal has the right ingredients, but no fire. Brazil, still lost in a carnival of confusion. And Spain, the youngest and flashiest gang on the block, but one misstep from falling apart. And guess what? 2026 is coming. The question is, which of these golden generations will shine the brightest, and which will be forgotten in the glitter?